All right, hey everyone, get ready because we are diving deep today into some pretty big Samsung news. We're talking DeX.
Oh, yeah.
You know that cool app that lets you turn your Galaxy phone into basically a mini computer on your PC?
Yeah, think of it like a desktop experience right on your Windows machine.
Exactly. Super useful for moving files or working on documents, all that good stuff. But here's the thing. With this upcoming One UI 7 update, things are about to change, like big time for DeX. And we've got some articles here to help us figure out what's going on. We've got one from Android Authority and then one from Sammy Fans, both from November 29th, 2024. And get this, the headline is that the DeX Windows app is going away.
It is. It is.
So no more DeX.
Well, not so fast. It's not that simple. I mean, the standalone app is going away, but who knows? The functionality might stick around in some way.
Okay, so this is where it gets really interesting, right? Neither of these articles actually say why Samsung is making this change. It's like a total mystery. Part of me is kind of wondering if they're trying to push people to use that link to Windows feature Microsoft already has.
I think you could be onto something there. Remember, Samsung and Microsoft, they've been getting closer and closer lately. Look at the dedicated Copilot key you see on Galaxy devices these days. That's one prime example. So yeah, maybe ditching this separate DeX app could mean they're leaning even further into that whole Windows world.
Okay, so let's talk about this link to Windows thing. Both articles suggest users switch over to it. They're saying it's pretty similar to DeX. But is it really? Is it a real replacement?
Well, Link to Windows is basically like a bridge between your phone and your PC. You can mirror your phone's screen on your computer, get notifications on your computer, send messages from your computer. You can even run some mobile apps right there on your computer. So yeah, it definitely has some things in common with DeX for sure. But
Come on, don't leave us hanging.
well, the real difference, I think, is how deep the experience goes. Like with the DeX app, you had all that window management stuff. You could resize and organize windows just like on a normal desktop.
Oh, yeah.
Link to Windows is more for mirroring and basic interactions.
So you're not going to get that same level of control.
Probably not.
So it sounds like Link to Windows is more about convenience
Yeah.
and quick access.
Uh-huh.
It's not really like a total desktop replacement the way DeX was.
Exactly.
Huh. So for people who really used all those fancy DeX features,
Yeah.
this change might not feel so smooth.
No, I don't think so.
It's almost as if Samsung is picking integration over having their own separate software experience on Windows.
Yeah, and that makes you wonder, is this a sign of what's to come? Are they going to move away from standalone apps completely and focus on making their devices work really well with what Microsoft already has?
That is a really interesting thought. And speaking of Samsung maybe streamlining their software, there's another change coming with One UI 7. The Sammy Fans article mentioned it.
Oh, yeah.
Apparently, you won't be able to download third-party Edge panels anymore.
Edge panels.
Yeah.
Those are those customizable sidebars on your Samsung phone. Give you quick access to apps, contacts, tools, all kinds of handy stuff.
Exactly. They're super useful for making your phone your own, making it work exactly the way you want. But it seems like now you won't have as many options.
Yeah, so the article says existing downloaded panels will still work, but you won't be able to get new ones from the Galaxy Store anymore.
So basically, you're stuck with what you've already got. No more searching for cool new Edge panels.
That's what it sounds like.
That seems like a pretty big deal.
Yeah, it does make you wonder, are they trying to control the user experience more? Or is there some kind of technical reason why they're doing this?
So we've got these two big changes. The DeX Windows app is out.
Yeah.
And you can't download third-party Edge panels anymore. It seems like Samsung might be trying to simplify things with One UI 7.
Yeah, it does.
But is that a good thing?
Well, that's the question, isn't it? Are these changes good for users in the long run? Do they make things more integrated, more seamless? Or are they taking away some of our control, some of our choices?
Well, that is exactly what we're going to dig into in part 2 of this deep dive. So stick around. We'll be right back.
Welcome back, everyone. So before the break, we were talking about Samsung ditching the DeX app for Windows and replacing it with this Link to Windows thing. It really makes you think, what are they planning long term?
Yeah, I know, right? It's like they're sending a message about how they see their relationship with Windows now. Like if you're starting to rely on Microsoft stuff instead of making your own, you're kind of getting tied closer and closer to their whole ecosystem,
You got it. This could be like a shift in who has more control.
Yeah.
Makes you wonder if Samsung is happy with that, or if they still want to create a totally separate software experience for Galaxy users.
And it's not like Samsung is new to software. They've put a lot of work into DeX and other features that make their devices stand out.
Absolutely. They haven't just given up on all that.
Right.
But this move with DeX, it does make you think maybe they're being more practical. Maybe they're realizing that working with Microsoft on Windows integration is a smarter move than trying to do everything themselves.
Okay, so that brings us back to the big question. How does Link to Windows actually stack up against the DeX app? Can it really give you a similar experience? Or are DeX fans going to be disappointed?
Well, to understand that, we got to look at how Link to Windows works. Basically, it creates a copy of your phone's screen on your PC.
Oh, like a mirror.
Exactly. You can open apps, check notifications, read messages, get to your files, all right there within that mirrored screen.
Sounds pretty good so far. But where do the limitations come in?
Well, Link to Windows is great for mirroring and basic stuff, but it's not really a full desktop replacement like DeX was.
Yeah.
Like DeX let you do all that window management stuff really precisely. You could resize windows, arrange them however you wanted, just like on a regular computer. But with Link to Windows, you're pretty much stuck with that mirrored phone screen. So you don't get the same control.
Gotcha. So it's more about convenience with Link to Windows.
Yeah.
Quick access.
Yeah, I think so.
But you lose some of that functionality.
You do.
Interesting. It's also strange that Samsung hasn't really explained why they're doing this.
I know, right?
It's like they're trying to make everyone forget that the DeX app is going away.
You'd think they would want to explain it to people, especially to those DeX users who might feel like Samsung is abandoning them.
Totally.
Maybe they're just trying to avoid complaints.
Yeah. Or maybe they're just being super secretive. Like, what if this is just the first step in a much bigger plan? Like, maybe they're going to completely change the whole Galaxy Windows experience.
Wow, that would be something.
Right.
But let's not get carried away.
Yeah, you're right.
Right now, we just got to deal with the fact that DeX is going away. And Link to Windows is what they're giving us instead.
Okay, so let's switch gears for a second. Let's talk about that other big change, the end of third-party Edge panel downloads. I mean, I really like Edge panels. They're a great way to personalize your Samsung phone.
They are. So this move, it's interesting, makes you think maybe they want a more streamlined and controlled experience.
Right, like that walled garden idea we were talking about.
Exactly.
But is that all it is?
Well, that's a good question.
I mean, are they trying to create a world where everything has to be from Samsung? Or is there some technical reason they're limiting third-party downloads?
That is the question. And it's something we're going to dive into in the last part of our deep dive. So don't go anywhere. We're going to unpack what this change could mean and what it might tell us about the future of Samsung's software.
All right, welcome back, everyone. Before the break, we were talking about that change to Edge panels. No more downloading third-party ones with One UI 7. It really makes you think, Is this how Samsung is changing their whole software strategy?
It's a real possibility. Think about it. When they only allow Edge panels made by Samsung, they're basically creating this controlled space, and everything in that space is designed to work perfectly with Samsung stuff.
Right, it's that walled garden idea.
Yeah.
It does have some good points, like you're less likely to have things that don't work together, right?
Right.
And the whole experience can feel more polished.
Yeah, exactly. But you do lose something. Users don't have as much freedom to customize anymore.
True. I mean, that's one of the coolest things about Edge panels.
Absolutely.
You can add features and shortcuts that Samsung hasn't even thought of.
Totally.
And third-party developers, they come up with some really clever solutions. It's like, imagine you can only shop for clothes at one store.
Haha.
That stores might have some nice stuff, but it's not going to have everything for everyone.
That's a great way to put it. And that's what makes this decision so interesting, is Samsung putting a really unified, predictable experience first, even if it means taking away some of that flexibility and customization that people like.
That's the big question. And it's not just about Edge panels. When you look at this decision, and then you look at them getting rid of the DeX app for Windows, it seems like Samsung might be taking more and more control over the whole user experience.
Yeah, it does seem that way. And so that's something all of us using these devices have to think about. Where do we stand on this?
Right, exactly.
Do we want that convenience? Do we want that potential stability that comes with a more controlled ecosystem? Or is it more important to be able to customize and personalize our devices?
It's a tough choice. And a lot of tech companies are facing this same dilemma.
Yeah, they are.
You want to make something that's easy to use, something that just works. But you don't want to stop innovation.
Right.
And you don't want to take away people's choices. It's a tough balance.
It really is, and a lot of it depends on what the users say.
Exactly. So this is where you come in, listeners. Don't just sit back and let these changes happen. Go try out Link to Windows. See if it actually works for you.
Yeah, good idea.
And if it doesn't, let Samsung know.
You got it.
Your feedback matters. It can actually change what Samsung does with their software.
Absolutely.
Tell them what features are important to you. Tell them how much customization you want. Tell them how these changes are affecting you.
It all makes a difference.
That's all for today's deep dive, everyone. We covered a lot. From DeX disappearing on Windows to the end of third-party edge panels.
Yeah, we did.
But this conversation isn't over. Keep looking into these changes. Keep asking questions. And, most importantly, keep telling Samsung what you think.
That's right.
The future of technology depends on the people who use it, so make sure your voice is heard. Until next time, stay curious.